House of Horrors was the talk of Rhode Island, really. I mean, it actually was, well, more so the Castle of Terror, you know? I mean, and every time I went there, it was always a long line.
They had the House of Horrors or whatever it was, but I've been in many of those since then.
It was the Castle of Terror. When I was a kid, it was always, the front looks like a castle. It really isn't a House of Horrors, it's a Castle of Terror. That sign came from an older amusement at Rocky Point called the House of Horrors, I think in the 40s or 50s. So it was a recycled sign. And it was always the Castle of Terror. It wasn't any second-rate old sign, jacked up ride. It will be the Castle of Terror forever.
As you were waiting in line, there was this smell of grease that came from the track that every time I smell that to this day, I think of the House of Horrors. And you could hear the cars clinking up the track.
You come up the lift hill, you'd go out over the balcony, then you come in, and there was like a long corridor with stalactites and stalagmites and so forth. And there, at the end of that corridor, was a torture scene. That's where there was a woman that was bound to the wall, and she was breathing. She had like heaving breaths, she was breathing. There was a guy getting stretched on a rack. There was another guy hanging from the ceiling. The thing of most significance, I thought, was the Viking. The Viking was, again, toward the end of the ride. It was on the first floor, maybe just before the last corridor, and it was like a long, straight approach to him. You could see him in the distance. Now, they did remove that at some point, and I can't remember what year it was, and they put him outside the building, spearing a dragon. I think they took his cornucopia horn away, and they put the spear in his hand. He was like spearing a dragon.
We get in the car, it goes around the first bend, goes through the crash doors, then jumps off the track and sticks right there at the bottom of that first lift hill. And the chains are rattling, and the car's bouncing back and forth, and the two of us are screaming at the top of our lungs. Get me out of here. This is way more than the Castle of Terror we bargained for. I want to say the ride operator, but the kid was probably about 14 years old. Slams open the door, flicks all the lights on, and says, "Don't worry about it. I can't push you backwards. We're just going to have to go through with the lights on." So we held on to the little bar. We're going through, and actually, I have to tell you, it was probably the best ride on the Castle of Terror because all the lights were on. We got to see all the bugs, all the motors, all the things that made the Castle of Terror work.